Welcome to Volcanic Minds TV. We bring you another thriller. Strap on your seatbelt.
Breaking news tonight, police are investigating a crime at a McDonald's restaurant.
Mass murder story. The San Ysidro McDonald's massacre was an act of mass murder, which occurred at a McDonald's restaurant in the San Ysidro neighborhood of San Diego, California, on July 18, 1984. Chain of events prior to incident on July 15, 1984, James Huberty commented to his wife, Etna, that he suspected he had a mental health problem. 2 days later, on the morning of July 17th, he called a San Diego mental health clinic, requesting an appointment. Leaving his contact details with the receptionist, Huberty was assured the clinic would return his call within hours. According to his wife, Huberty sat quietly beside the telephone for several hours, awaiting the return call, before abruptly walking out of the family home and riding to an unknown destination on his motorcycle. Unbeknownst to Huberty, the receptionist had misspelled his name as Shuberty. His polite demeanor conveyed no sense of urgency to the operator, and he had elaborated in the phone call that he had never been hospitalized for mental health issues. Therefore, the call had been logged as a non-crisis inquiry to be handled within 48 hours. Approximately 1 hour later, Huberty returned home in a contented mood. After eating dinner, Huberty, his wife, and their 2 daughters, Zelia, 12, and Cassandra, 10, cycled to a nearby park. Later that evening, he and Etna watched a movie together on their television. July 18th, 1984, the following morning. Wednesday, July 18th, Huberty, his wife, and children visited the San Diego Zoo. In the course of their walk through the zoo, Huberty told his wife of his belief that his life was effectively over. Referring to the mental health clinic's failure to return his phone call the previous day, he said, "Well, society had their chance." After eating lunch at McDonald's restaurant in the Claremont neighborhood of San Diego, the Huberty family returned home. Shortly thereafter, Huberty walked into his bedroom wearing a maroon t-shirt and green camouflage slacks as his wife lay relaxing upon their bed. He leaned toward Etna and said, "I want to kiss you goodbye." Etna kissed her husband, then asked him where he was going, stating her intention to soon prepare the family dinner. Huberty calmly replied he was going hunting for humans. Holding a gun across his shoulder and carrying a box of ammunition and a bundle wrapped in a checkered blanket, Huberty glanced toward Zelia as he walked toward the front door of their apartment and said goodbye. "I won't be back." Huberty then drove down San Ysidro Boulevard. According to eyewitnesses, he drove first toward a Big Bear supermarket and then toward a post office, before entering the parking lot of a McDonald's restaurant approximately 200 yards, 180 meters from his Averill Road apartment. Murders at approximately 3:56 p.m. on July 18th. Huberty drove his black Mercury Marquis sedan into the parking lot of the McDonald's restaurant on San Ysidro Boulevard. In his possession were a 9mm Browning HP semi-automatic pistol, a 9mm Uzi carbine, a Winchester 1212 gauge pump-action shotgun, and a box and a cloth bag filled with hundreds of rounds of ammunition for each weapon. A total of 45 customers were present inside the restaurant. Entering the restaurant minutes later, Huberty first aimed his shotgun at a 16-year-old employee named John Arnold from a distance of approximately 15 feet. As he did so, the assistant manager, Guillermo Flores, shouted, "Hey John, that guy's going to shoot you." According to Arnold, when Huberty pulled the trigger, nothing happened. As Huberty inspected his gun, the manager of the restaurant, 22-year-old Neva Kane, walked toward the service counter of the restaurant in the direction of Arnold, as Arnold, believing the incident to be a distasteful joke, began to walk away from the gunman. Huberty fired his shotgun toward the ceiling before aiming the Uzi at Kane, shooting her once beneath her left eye. Kane died minutes later. Immediately after shooting Kane, Huberty fired his shotgun at Arnold, wounding the teenager in the chest and arm, before shouting a comment to the effect of, "Everybody on the ground.
Everyone kneel on the floor!"
One customer, 25-year-old Victor Rivera, tried to persuade Huberty not to shoot
Stop hurting them! I won't let you!
anyone else. In response, Huberty shot Rivera 14 times, repeatedly shouting, "Shut up," as Rivera screamed in pain. Initial reports issued by the San Diego Police Department following the massacre indicated that everyone injured or killed within the restaurant had been shot by Huberty in the initial minutes after he had first entered the restaurant. This claim was hotly disputed by survivors, who stated Huberty had shot both wounded and unwounded people over 40 minutes after he had first opened fire. What a travesty, so many innocent lives lost, the unborn, the newborn, kids, women and men, lives gone, lives impacted, for the living life will never be the same. It goes to show mental illness played a big role in this horrific event, an event that was so unrealistic you would have thought it was a script from a Hollywood movie. But no, people, this is real life. Tell what your thoughts on this situation. Was the dispatcher at fault for not collecting correct information on the location of this horrible scene, which caused a major delay in the emergency response efforts? Or was it the previous call for help, which the killer asked for help after facing issues? Tell me your thoughts, and be sure to not only comment, but to like and subscribe, as I'm on my way to obtaining 20 subscribers.